Welcome, dear listener. I'm Zayed Haji, author, research student, and founder of IFR and ISR and IGC. In today's episode, we step beyond the surface of modern banking and enter a world where finance is built on justice, transparency, and shared responsibility. Together, we will walk through the three powerful models of Islamic finance, Musharakah, Mudharabah, and Murabahah, and uncover why they are not merely theories, but living systems that challenge the very foundations of interest-based economics. Before we begin, ask yourself this: what if the financial system you've trusted your entire life wasn't designed to free you, but to control you? If that question stirs even the slightest discomfort, stay with me, because in the next few minutes you will discover a way of financing built not on exploitation, but on justice, partnership, and real value. Once you understand these three models, you will never look at money or debt the same way again. Let's step inside the grand marble entrance of Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank, ADIB, and imagine opening three distinct doors, each leading to a powerful pillar of Islamic finance and Islamic banking. In this world, concepts like Musharakah, sharia-compliant finance, and Islamic loan without interest are not theoretical ideas but living, breathing realities woven into the daily operations of a modern sharia banking system. Unlike conventional institutions, this Muslim bank operates under a framework of Islamic economics and Islamic banking and finance, where every sharia loan, Islamic finance loan, and halal financing product, whether provided by Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank, the Islamic Development Bank, or any other sharia-compliant bank, is built on partnership, asset-backed value, and shared risk. From Islamic share market investments to sharia funding initiatives, the Islamic banking system replaces the machinery of interest with a transparent, ethical alternative that empowers individuals and transforms economies. It is in this world that the Muslim banking system offers Islamic loans, Islamic business financing, and Islamic loan systems without interest, ushering in a new era of fairness and financial justice. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast unexplored marketplace, one where every transaction is rooted not in speculation or hidden interest, but in trust, shared vision, and ethical purpose. Three doors appear before you, each representing a powerful force reshaping Islamic finance. Behind the first door is Musharakah, a partnership forged by equals. In this realm, all parties bring their own capital, commit to the same dream, and shoulder responsibility together. Profit is not taken, it is earned collectively, and loss is accepted according to the contribution made. Each partner plays an active role, making decisions, guiding the venture, and sharing in the risk just as much as the reward. It is more than financing, it is a joint mission. The second door opens into the world of Mudharabah, a delicate yet dynamic equilibrium of capital and talent. Here, one party steps forward as the financier, entrusting their funds to the entrepreneur, whose only resource may be skill, knowledge, and relentless effort. They do not share the burden of money, but hold all the responsibility of management in their hands. Together, they agree on how the profit will be divided before the journey begins. And if misfortune strikes, the financier absorbs the financial loss, while the entrepreneur loses only the time and effort invested. It is not mere cooperation, it is a profoundly fair alliance that values both wealth and human capability. Finally, the third door reveals Murabahah, a different kind of transaction built not on speculation but on transparency and tangible value. The financier steps in first, purchasing the exact asset requested. Once secured, the asset is sold to the customer at an openly declared price that includes a clearly defined markup. There is no ambiguity. The customer knows from the outset what the cost is and what the profit margin will be. The moment ownership changes hands, so does responsibility. This is not a loan disguised as help, it is a truthful, asset-backed sale that creates trust through clarity and ensures that every party knows exactly what commitment they are making. Ask yourself, if the system is exploiting you, would you even notice? Stay with me. The next part may shatter everything you've assumed about money and debt. At the heart of all three, Musharakah, Mudharabah, and Murabahah, is a singular, deeply compelling truth. Wealth and faith are not separate forces. They are designed to work together. Risk is shared with integrity, profit is pursued with conscience, and transactions are carried out in such a way that no party is exploited, deceived, or left behind. Once you step fully into this paradigm, you realize something shifts inside you. It is no longer a question of whether these models work. It becomes a conviction so firm, so psychologically undeniable that this is how finance must be. Imagine for a moment that purchasing a home is no longer an act of submission to a faceless financial system, but a transaction rooted in transparency, dignity, and shared value. Instead of being handed a loan burdened with interest that quietly compounds with each passing month, you enter into a clearly defined agreement, one in which real assets, not hidden rates, form the foundation of the exchange. This is the essence of the Murabahah cost-plus financing model. In this model, the bank doesn't lend you money and then retreat into the background to watch interest accumulate. It steps into the marketplace first, purchases the property on your behalf, and then sells it directly to you. But it does so with absolute clarity. The purchase price, say 50 lakh, is openly declared. The selling price, 55 lakh, is equally transparent. The difference is the bank's profit agreed upon upfront. There is no interest, no silent escalation, no hidden penalties waiting to emerge over time. Instead, you agree to repay the exact amount, 55 lakh, in fixed installments spread over a period such as 10 years. What may look like a simple transaction is in fact a profound realignment of how finance should work. The bank's profit is embedded in the value of the property itself, not in the passage of time or in the borrower's vulnerability. This is not a loan masquerading as assistance. It is a genuine buy and sell transaction grounded in real-world value. This principle applies across Islamic financing models. In Musharakah, the bank earns profit through rent on its share of the property, a return aligned with the evolving value of the asset, not with an abstract interest rate. In Murabahah, the profit comes from the markup on the selling price, again tied directly to the tangible asset. In both cases, risk is shared. If the property loses value or the borrower encounters financial hardship, the bank does not simply collect interest while remaining untouched by the consequences. It participates in the real-world outcome of the transaction just as the borrower does. This is the deeper truth behind the Islamic home financing model. The bank does not profit from time. It profits from real asset-backed value, and it shares the risk alongside the customer. That shift transforms the entire experience. It replaces exploitation with equity, ambiguity with clarity, and detachment with shared responsibility. Once you understand this, conventional interest-based lending no longer feels like the standard. It begins to feel like the compromise. Pause for a moment and be completely honest with yourself. If the system you're part of is quietly exploiting you, would you even recognize it? Most people don't. They follow the rules, make the payments, and believe that debt is just how the world works. But what if that belief is the very reason the system keeps functioning? If that makes you even slightly uncomfortable, good, it means you're waking up. Stay with me. What comes next will challenge everything you've been conditioned to accept about banking, wealth, and fairness. Imagine 3 doors leading into 3 very different financial realities, all grounded in ethics, transparency, and shared responsibility. You step through the first door and enter a world called Musharakah. Here, finance is no longer a solitary burden. Instead, it is a true partnership where both parties contribute capital and walk side by side toward a common goal. Consider 2 individuals, Ahmad and Khalid, who decide to build a small manufacturing business. Ahmad brings 10 lakh, Khalid brings the same. They become equal partners, share management duties, and agree to split profits at 50-50. If the business makes a profit of 6 lakh, each receives 3 lakh. And if the market turns and a 4 lakh loss occurs, they each absorb 2 lakh. No one hides behind fine print. Success is shared, so is the pain. In Musharakah, profit is distributed according to agreed terms, but loss is shared strictly in proportion to capital invested. a structure that binds both partners to the outcome of the venture in the most honest way possible. Now walk through the second door, Mudharabah, a setting where capital and talent merge to create value. Imagine a banker named Zain who has 20 lakh and a young entrepreneur named Salman who has money but a powerful new app idea. Zain agrees to provide the full funding while Salman provides all the technical expertise and operational effort. Before launching, they agree that Zain will receive 70% of any profit earned and Salman will receive 30%. The business succeeds and earns 10 lakh in profit. Zain receives 7 lakh, Salman gets 3 lakh. But if it fails, Zain alone loses the investment. Salman simply walks away with no profit and the loss of his time and effort. Mudharabah is not charity, it is a high-trust alliance in which profit is shared, but financial loss falls strictly on the provider of capital. It recognizes the value of human effort and human skill as an asset in its own right. Now open the final door, Murabahah, where a completely different approach awaits. In this world, you don't borrow money. The bank walks into the market on your behalf, buys the exact asset you need, a home, a property, even inventory, and then sells it to you at a clearly stated markup. For example, the bank purchases a property for 50 lakh and sells it to you for 55 lakh, telling you from the very beginning that the 5 lakh difference is its profit. You repay this amount in fixed monthly installments over an agreed period, say 10 years. It is neither loan nor interest. It is a transparent buy and sell transaction in which the bank's profit is derived from a real asset rather than the passage of time. Before we close, don't forget, knowing the truth means nothing if you keep living the lie. Stay with me till the end. This final insight may change how you handle your money forever. A conclusion, the lesson you must never forget. These three models, Musharakah, Mudharabah, and Murabahah, teach one unforgettable truth about Islamic finance. Real wealth comes from value and shared responsibility, not from exploiting time or vulnerability. In Musharakah, profit and loss are shared because capital is shared. In Mudharabah, knowledge and effort are elevated alongside money and profit is earned accordingly. In Murabahah, value is created through real assets and transparent trade instead of hidden interest. Together, these models form not just a system of finance but a philosophy of dignity, fairness, and ethical cooperation. Once you truly absorb this ethos, interest-based lending begins to feel not just inefficient but fundamentally unjust. As you step out of the Islamic Bank and reflect on what you've just witnessed, Musharakah's spirit of shared ownership, Mudharabah's alliance of capital and human talent, and Murabahah's clear and transparent asset-based trade, a quiet realization begins to crystallize. All three models revealed a radically different way of interacting with money. They demonstrated that wealth can be built through partnership instead of exploitation, through shared responsibilities instead of unilateral demands, and through real assets rather than abstract interest. And then a second, deeper recognition follows. The conventional financial system we have grown accustomed to begins to look less like progress and more like an intricate trap. The endless cycle of borrowing, paying interest, and falling further into debt is designed to simulate growth while it quietly corrodes the real economy. The longer you think about it, the more you see that interest is not just a fee. It is a mechanism that keeps people and entire societies dependent and constrained. Suddenly, Sharia-compliant finance is no longer simply another option. It becomes an entirely different way of seeing wealth. Instead of draining the financial strength of individuals through interest, it reinforces the real economy through partnership, fairness, and shared risk. It creates conditions in which inflation can be controlled and where ordinary people are not crushed under the relentless expansion of debt. This is the true power of Sharia law. It does more than provide financial solutions. It rewires our understanding of value, wealth, and justice. It aligns the interests of the rich and the poor, the financier and the customer, in a manner that strengthens social cohesion and long-term stability. Rather than extract wealth through interest, it distributes value through mutually beneficial participation. And so, as you walk down that same busy street, the solution to the financial challenges facing India and countless other nations becomes strikingly clear. The answer is not to keep feeding the machinery of debt and interest. It is to embrace a system that honors real wealth, shared responsibility, and the well-being of all. By grounding every transaction in tangible assets and binding both parties to shared risk, Sharia finance provides a transparent, equitable, and ethically grounded alternative to the conventional model. It reduces inequality, stabilizes economies, and channels financial activity toward genuine productive value. And now, with this clarity, you finally see the path forward. A financial system that works for everyone, not just the lenders. A system where Sharia law guides finance toward fairness, stability, and enduring prosperity for all. If today's discussion sparked even a flicker of awareness, do not let it die out. What you just heard is only a doorway. The invisible debt tech takes you fully inside, exposing how the interest-based system silently enslaves nations, families, and individuals, and showing the only principles capable of breaking the cycle. This is not just a book, it's a warning, a roadmap, and a shield. Own it, study it, share it. Available now as an ebook on Google Play Books and Amazon Kindle. Also in paperback on Amazon India and Flipkart. Visit zayedhaji.com or zayedalhaji.com and equip yourself before the next cycle begins. This is Zayed Haji signing off, and I hope today's journey has opened your eyes to a financial reality rooted in faith, fairness, and genuine value. Musharakah, Mudharabah, and Murabahah are more than contracts. They are proof that prosperity doesn't have to come at the cost of someone else's suffering. May these principles guide your decisions and protect you from the cycles of debt and deception. And next time, may the Almighty grant you clarity, strength, and protection on this path.